Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. Welcome back to, I would say sunny Florida, but it's going to be sunny but cold. So I'll talk about that in a minute. First thing I want to do is apologize for not live streaming while I was in Daytona. I do have a very valid reason for that, but it's not because of me. Um, the uh, the way the race worked out after I think it was about 1 a.m. We had just gotten back from dinner and we're like, hey, let's go back there at about 2 o'clock. And I set my alarm for 2. We just kind of relaxed and chilled for a little bit. And then the alarm went off at 2. And I'm like, yeah, this will be great. And I go outside and it looks like we're on the set from one of the Friday the 13th movies. It is completely fogged out. Like I opened the door to the hotel and I was expecting to hear, cat, out, all that. And, there were enough, uh, how do we put this? Indigenous creatures out there to make it a little scary to cruise back over to the track. So I'm like, this is really odd. So um, it turns out I was like, yeah, let's just crash out for a few hours and then we'll go to the track when it's a little less gnarly out. And uh, got up about 6 o'clock, and the we find out that the race had been under a full course yellow for 6.5 hours. That means these guys are doing like 50 miles an hour around the whole course for 6.5 hours, a quarter of the race. So it was actually a good time for us to get some sleep and re-energized for the rest of the day on Sunday. But I can't imagine the teams. When you're racing, you have, the adrenaline flowing and all this other stuff going through you. So the time passes quicker and, you're a lot more into it. When you're just driving a taxi around a track, it's really, really hard on a race team. It's really, really hard on drivers because they're built to go, they're trying to do, purple sector lap times and they're under a full course yellow. Now, when we did go back to the track a little bit after 7, it was still very foggy. But as we were driving back, we could hear it go green, and it was still very, very foggy, and still, it's very dangerous for those guys to drive in that heavy of a fog. They have a tough, very small window to see out of, and it's very tough for them to navigate traffic and all that other stuff when you add on the factor of fog. And it was very heavy fog. It wasn't like Bear Grylls fog where there's, you know it's a huge barren landscape, but actually over here on the left there's a highway. It's not like that. This is fog, and it's all over. So it was for the airport too. They had, bunch of delays and stuff out of, because the airport's literally next door to the track. So they had a bunch of delays too. It actually was fine, but since we didn't do that, it wasn't worth it for me to go to the track and live stream to you guys because the cars are just going like 50 miles an hour, and that's kind of not what you guys want to see. That's not what fans want to see when we're there. It's very dull and it's very uninteresting. So I kind of spared you guys from that. If you want to watch cars just kind of lap around the track, there's tons of video for that. Um, uh, it's very dull. It's not exciting at all. So that's why I didn't come and live stream in the middle of the night, because first off, you probably wouldn't have been able to see me. The fog was that thick. And then next off, it's not cool to hear, the Valkyrie at 50 miles an hour, in first or second gear, just tootling around the track. It's not fun. So I do apologize for that. And the more track stuff that we do, I'll try and do more lives from there. I do have better equipment, and again, I'm by myself, so doing this all by myself is kind of a lot to manage. So uh, I'll try and do more stuff like literally at the track, in the car, in the paddock, that sort of thing. Um, so I'll give you a little rundown of the weekend. Oh, first, how about some good news? I want to give you guys some good news because I just read about this, and again, you see it online. You have to triple check everything. Is that real? Is that AI? Is it something that a rumor that someone made up out of the back of their mind somewhere? But it seems to be sort of confirmed. Michael Schumacher, no longer bedridden, in a wheelchair, moving around. Some of the best news I've heard in a long time. So that was really cool to read, and I'm glad it was one of those things that I researched. So, oh wait, we've got people here. Um, oh, hey Liz. Yeah, some of the pictures I put on social media, a lot of people really liked. So if you guys want, you can go check those out. I do have a bunch more pictures I'll be uploading to social media. So uh, I'll do a wrap up over there once I crop out, you know, some guy picking his nose in the corner. I'll try and crop that stuff out for you guys. Um, it was kind of odd to see, since we were talking about the weather, watching the snow totals rise as we're all getting tan, watching Berg's neck get very, very red back here as we're watching 10 inches, 14 inches. At my shop in Ohio, 21 inches of snow fell. And that was in 24 hours. So that's almost an inch an hour. And growing up in Colorado, I'm used to, I've seen upwards of 3 inches an hour in Colorado. So this is kind of not a big thing for me. It's just kind of odd to see that much snow all at once in Ohio. And then the bonus part is they are absolutely frozen all week. So none of that is melting. All of that is staying put. And that'll be for at least a week or so. So, yeah, that was kind of interesting. We're in shorts and t-shirts, and literally the entire rest of the country is frozen. And that was such a dichotomy, and people were sort of a little bit resentful that we would post, beach pictures and stuff like that. But that's okay, tough. That's what my mom used to say. So I'll give you guys a quick rundown, some of the fun stuff. I'll say you guys don't want to hear all the dumb stuff and shit that went wrong and all that. So I'll spare that. We'll do that over dinner a different time. So got there on. I went up on Thursday and took the car to the Haggerty black tie event that they had, the hangar party that they had, and that was a lot of fun. Met some very, very cool people. Saw some very, very cool cars. Talked with an owner of Aston Martin Vantage. He was really, really nice. And talked to some of the Haggerty guys, which were really, really cool. They were super nice. And then the hangar is owned by a company called Brown and Brown. And I talked with some of the reps from Brown and Brown, and their video guy and I, we did some old school video production stuff, and shot the shit with old cameras that we used to run and all of that, which was that was fun. And went to that, and then actually Chris and I got food before. We didn't realize that they were going to have actual food there, and actually I wasn't really into the food that was there anyway, so we went there. The surprise was Hurley Haywood was at the event, and if you don't know who Hurley Haywood is, why are you watching a car guy on YouTube? You should know who Hurley Haywood is, whether you're off-road guy, drag race guy, road course guy, F1 guy, or girl, whatever. Sorry, you should know who Hurley Haywood is. He's an extremely famous racer and very winning racer. Very, very nice guy. Older gentleman now, but still very cool to talk to. A very, very nice guy. And he was at the party talking basically to everyone. And he gave a little speech, a little rundown of his career and how much fun he's had at Daytona over the years, winning at Daytona. So yeah, that was a really cool part. That was kind of a surprise. I didn't know he was going to be there. And we had fun with, God, I can't remember the mascot's name. Was he Sam the safety dog? He was the NASCAR safety dog. Uh, yeah, I think it was Sam the NASCAR safety dog. And we had some fun. Took some pictures with the Viper in the hangar with Sam the safety dog. That was fun. He was very entertaining. And who else? So that was the party, the hangar party. It's really cool too. Uh, you're in a hangar and there's a couple of planes out there. One had been moved out so that the cars could be in there and the people. And so you have one outside and one inside. And they were doing tours of the plane. And then you look over and there's the Ferris wheel that's lighted. It's really cool. There's the Ferris wheel inside the infield in Daytona. Daytona is huge. The racetrack's just huge. So there's a Ferris wheel in there, and I think someone said it's $100 an hour. So if you wanted to do the full 24 hours on the Ferris wheel, it's $2,400. I think that's what someone said. I don't know if that's true. You guys can look that up if you want. It'd be fun for an hour. I don't know if I could do a full 24 on a Ferris wheel. So you look out towards the Ferris wheel, and then you see the grandstands in the background, and you can hear the cars, either during practice or some of the other series were racing. Some of the vintage series and the smaller series, not the main race. They were doing that, and then practice laps and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool to be at that party and get to see that and listen to that. And you watch the sunset. It was really cool. So that was Friday night. Saturday, we were up fairly early. Or no, sorry. On Friday, we actually had kind of a day off. The other guys were getting in town. So Chris and I hopped in the car, and Chris is a huge geek like me. So we drove to Cape Canaveral. And I'd never been to Cape Canaveral. I've seen hundreds of launches and watched the space shuttle and all that jazz. Oh, there's more comments popping up. Hang on. Yeah, it sucks. I'm feeling south right now. Arrow Warrior, you park next to. Very nice Arrow Warrior you park next to. I don't know what that reference is. I don't. I'll figure that one out later. I'm slow on the uptake right now. So Chris and I were driving to Cape Canaveral because they have. He told me they were doing the Artemis launch I think it's in March, and they're still building the huge rocket that's supposed to do a lap of the moon. This is like the test rocket that's going to send people back to the moon, which would be incredible. And they're building it out there. So we're trying to get close to it. And you can't. I'll just let you guys know this ahead of time. You can't get within 3 miles of that rocket. You're not without some kind of badge or automatic weapon. So you're not getting in there. So we tried the south way, and we stopped by Kennedy Space Center and went in and kind of did the tour and stuff. And then we tried to go around up. I can't remember the name of the beach, but you can go to the beach, but it's like $30 to go to the state park. We're like, no, because even though you go to the state park, it's still like 4 miles, and you walk down, and then there's a big fence there, and so you can't really get any closer. So it wasn't worth it to blow that money just to not get any closer than we already were on the other side. But we did try. And the picture that I put up on social media was from the attempt at our south entrance. And where that picture was taken, I'm not sure if you can see, but in the background is the armed guard gate to Cape Canaveral. That's where that goes to Kennedy Space Center and all that stuff up there. That's the big gate. And so that's as close as we can get on the south side. We tried the north side, it wasn't working. And then for fun, we're like, hey, maybe we can go kind of at a diagonal. So we came back from the north side, and there's a dirt road. Who knew that the Viper could rally cross? I didn't, but we decided to try. It was kind of a sandy, gravelly road. So we took the sandy, gravelly road. This is not a Jeep. I'm just going to let you guys know ahead of time. Not a Jeep. Not a K5 Blazer. Not a Shep or Sherp or whatever it's called. Not made for off-road use in any way. The road was thankfully fairly smooth, but it was still pretty rough. And it turns out it's actually just like a hunting road, or there's a ton of bird watching down there, which is very odd with all the rockets. But it's like a wildlife road, and it's just a loop that goes around this little inlet. So even if we go down all the way to the end, we're still 10-foot mangrove trees that are covering everything. You can't really see anything. So I turned around and came back. By the time we came out of there, the whole side of the car and the whole back of the car is covered in really fine mica dust. It's like lapping compound. It's like a powder. It's so fine. It's not like heavy dirt or sand. It's like really fine powder, like someone put powdered sugar all over the car. So drove drove back to, or no, we grabbed lunch at a place called Rob's Burgers, which was really good. And that was in, I think that was in Titusville where we did that. And then we went back and met the other guys at the hotel. And the other guys had flown in from different locations, and Berg had driven up from Tampa, and he picked up one of the guys. One of the guys also took a shuttle up. So we now had our group of 5 that were all together. We got other messages coming in here. What do we got? Hey, Nikki. Can't wait to see all the pictures, especially of any with the planes. Okay. Yes, I do have a couple pictures with the planes. I tried to be artistic with like the nose and the cars and then the Ferris wheel. I tried to be Herb Ritz. You guys you can tell me if it worked or not. Again, I just have my phone in my pocket and I spend a lot of time talking to people, and so it was one of those. I don't. I'm not very selfish with my phone, so I don't just selfie and selfie and selfie and then leave. I'm actually interacting with people, talking with them, and so when I go to events, it's very rare for me to take pictures because I'm busy interacting. I'm busy living life instead of just taking that moment. And I know I should probably do get a little better balance in there, but for me I enjoy talking with people more than taking pictures of myself. So if someone wants to hire a photographer and take pictures of me interacting with people in the car, go for it. That's fine. I get into the moment and into the people that I'm talking with versus having the need to show everyone else what I'm doing. And if I can, I will. Hook up a camera and can follow me around. But most of the time, I'm doing that. So I'll see if I can find shots of the planes. If you really want planes, so we had a logistical issue, and Thursday night, Chris and I stayed at. I'm not even going to say the name. I'll just say we stayed at a motel, not a hotel, a motel. And you want to talk about the native wildlife? Yeah, it was absolutely terrifying. And so that was just thankfully just for the one night. But the planes came in. It's over, literally, the runway is on the other side of the road where the motel is. That's where the runway starts. So, and you have a lot of PJs, private jets. You have a lot of like Cessna 172s, 185s and stuff come in, and those are pretty quiet. The PJs are kind of loud. But then you have, Delta, 328 coming in from Atlanta, and it is a A320 or 737-8, and it's just a huge plane, and you swear they're going to land in your room. It's so loud. It was the good part was the planes drowned out the noise from the crack deals happening in the room next door to us. So that was the bonus of the planes. But that hotel was extremely, extremely close to the landing zone. Now the motel, sorry, the hotel we were at was about a quarter of a mile up the street, considerably nicer, like exponentially nicer, but also much, much quieter, even with the planes coming in. I do have a video from when we were at the motel. I'm out at the car and I'm like, holy crap, here comes a Delta flight. And I was like, churn, you can hear how loud it is. So that was one of those things we had to get adjusted, and Chris and I adapted pretty quick to that one. And then the rest of the night, the rest of the stay, we were at the other hotel, and it was just a couple miles from the track. But you guys will notice, and I'm sure you've noticed since the video started, the Haggerty Corral sticker. This is the Willy Wonka golden ticket, and that is the best ticket you can get for Daytona. For Daytona 500, 24 hours of Daytona, whatever. And this is the parking pass, the infield parking pass. So you go around to the north side of the track and you come in there and you go through, they're like those big drain tunnels, the corrugated steel drain tunnels. The car barely fits through there. Plus they have like a walkway and you drop really steep down. So I was worried about high centering the car. And then there's a little bit of flat where it drains out, and then it's really steep up and it levels off very quickly. So when you're in the tunnel, you have 40 people, 80 people, rev it, and it's already loud as shit. So you try and accommodate a few people, but you don't want to scare children. So does it grip? Let's see. The answer to that question is, are the Kennedys gun shy? So there you go. Do the Kardashians like the NBA? There's the answer to your questions. So that was the big thing on Friday, picking up that pass from Berg. Brendan Berg hooked me up with Haggerty, and they took care of us. We got wristbands, so we personally get in, which is really nice, and then the car gets in. Having the car there, or last year we had the truck and my car. We had Taryn's truck. Having that home base and putting your water in there, and you're changing clothes in case it rains, or changing clothes in case it's really, really hot. All of your snacks, charge phones, all that stuff. Having that home base is really, really important. You can take a backpack in with you, and you can have all that stuff with you, but you're hauling it around all the time. When you have that home base, it's nice to be able to walk around, come back, drop the phone off for a charge, tuck it under the seat, go walk around some more, come back, grab your phone, whatever. Everyone reloads on water, and then you go back out again. And we literally did the entire course. So I figured it out this afternoon. Over the course of 2 days, I walked 15.82 miles. And that's, about 2 miles an hour. So not too bad. And buns of steel and thighs are nice and tight. So yeah, it works. Walked around a lot. What are you doing, Bug? Walked around a lot, which was really great. Very good exercise. And ran into our friends Nick Fry and Jacob and Adam and Joey on the turn 4, after the turn 4, the big hook around, and ran into those guys. And Nick took some really, really incredible pictures. If you get a chance, go check out Nick Fry on Instagram. He's got some awesome pictures up. And let's see. So the coolest cars there, obviously Rexy is a huge fan favorite. Spike is a huge fan favorite. That's AO Racing. They run those two cars. They're really cool. They're very fun people. They're very nice people, and they have some cool cars. The Porsche was always the odds-on favorite. I don't even think Vegas had odds on them. I bet you they were 1-1. It just wasn't worth betting on. And Porsche did win the race. You also had BMW and Cadillac. So you had 1, 2, 3, and then Porsche was 4. So the really cool one for me was I had a friend at McLaren at RLL running the McLaren number 59 car, and I got to watch that car, which was really cool. And the big one for me was the Valkyrie, and I wanted to see the Valkyrie complete a 24-hour race. I knew it was capable. I've seen all the engineering behind it and all that. The Valkyrie is stunning, not only in looks, but its sound is incredible. And once you can get it away from the other cars, because a lot of the the prototype cars and some of the GT cars, they kind of drown out the sound. If you can get the Valkyrie by itself under full acceleration, it is like sex, man. It is so good. It just sounds so nice. All you 787 fanboys, that's the sound you're looking for. That. Go listen. Go check it out. Go Aston Martin Valkyrie. And then Aston Martin also had a GT4 car. They had one of the DBSs in there, which is that car sounds really good too. In the GT class, probably for me the best sounding car were the Mustangs, the GTD Mustangs. They sound really good. The Multimatic cars sounded really great, and I think they ran fairly well. I got to check stats. The other cool cars, I did watch the Lambos. Both Lambos finished, all 24, which is pretty cool, and that's a big step for Lamborghini racing. They've always, their engines have been pretty finicky and their gearboxes have been finicky, and they made it through. Oh, by the way, with the Aston Martin racing, it took me a second to figure it out because it's Aston Martin Thor Racing, and I was like, what is Thor? And Thor is the heart of racing. I don't know why it took me 2 years to figure that out. The heart of racing, so it's Thor. And then on the side of the cars, it says the heart of racing. I don't know why that took me so long to figure out. I'm pretty good with the anagrams and stuff, so my apologies. What other cool cars were there? They had the vintage races. It was really cool to see the GTSR Viper, the Gen 2, out there. He ran, I think he P3'd in the race. He was on the podium, which was really cool, considering you're up against, the big boy 935s and, some of the older prototypes. So that was pretty cool. They had Pinto. God, I can't remember the racing team that brought it. It's this purple Pinto that used to race in, the old school road racing days, and it's all set up and fully caged. It was cool. The manufacturers have all setups there. So Lexus, Toyota, Cadillac, Ford, BMW, everyone has big displays there with all their brand new cars. And then they, mix in some of the racing cars. I went to the Michelin booth and tried to stump the Michelin guys with tires for this car. And all I told the guy was, hey, what do you guys have in a 355 3019? And he's like, 355 30? What the hell are you putting that on? And it took him a couple minutes, and he's like, is it a Viper? I was like, yeah. He's like, wow, okay. The only one who's asked me for that. I was like, all right, well, what do you guys got? They actually do have one type of tire, the PS4s. So we'll see what else is out there. But they were super cool at Michelin, very, very nice people. And then the Cadillac display is pretty cool. They always have really cool stuff. They give away free T-shirts if you take their survey. Same thing at Chevrolet. And then Toyota had a couple of really cool cars, the race cars. They had their GR86, they had their Supra, and they had, what was the other car they had there? I think they had one of the prototype cars there, but it was really cool. These are the full blast race cars, and they're on display. They race in different series. They don't race in this. And it just gives you some kind of, gives you an idea of what you want in a race car. And, oh, those guys do this. Oh, they're using a yoke. They're not using a full wheel, or, their buttons are in a different spot for, fan controls and stuff. They have more controls on the steering wheel than they do on the panel, whatever. It just gives you kind of what those guys are doing versus what you're doing with your race cars. And it gives you ideas, inspiration to do, oh yeah, we should do this. And it's funny because I look at those cars and I go, you guys have all this technology and you have, $1 million cars. None of you guys have a touch screen dash. Only my Toyota MR6 has a touchscreen dash. The whole instrument panels, touchscreen. Not a side screen. Nope. The screen where the gauges are. Touchscreen, baby. So you don't even have that in the winning car at Daytona. They don't want that. I promise. It's just funny. Yeah, Liz, you're right. That red 92, that's a really, really cool car. There's a guy, I don't think he's in Ohio. I think he's south, like in Kentucky or Tennessee. He has an immaculate clone of that car. he did it like with all the dirt and rubber and stuff marks on it. He has a really, really cool clone of that car. Um, so let's see, we went to the other manufacturers, stopped by all of those booths. We stopped by and got food. These guys went to like a Chinese food place, and I got a couple egg rolls. I wasn't terribly hungry, but the egg rolls were damn good, like damn good. If you want a burger, it's $16. That is bun, burger, cheese. It's $16. That's what you get. So the what was the rest of the time? The rest of the time is walking around and going to different corners and different turns. On the back straight, coming around is a really great vantage point when they come off of the back straight and go up onto the banking, and to hear them come out of the kink and or bus stop, whatever you want to call it, and hear them gear up for that big turn. That's really cool. And then also conversely, coming onto the front straight after that big bank turn, they come onto the front straight and they hit another gear and go down that front straight. The Valkyrie coming out of that is just unbelievable. It's screaming like 11,000, 12,000 RPMs. And then he comes down and he's like, I don't know, 13, 14, goes up. And the thing idles at like $6,000 or something. It's really badass sounding. Sounds so good. They did have some mechanicals, I think, and they finished like 40th. They were 40 laps down, so they finished like 38th or something. That's all right. That's part of the deal. That was one of the good things about the full course yellow is the people who were doing repairs, they had some time to actually get stuff down. They didn't rack up that many lost laps. Overall, the race in general, from that 6.5, 7 hour fog delay, that yellow delay, they probably lost about 150 regular laps that they normally do if the cars were still running full blast. So that's kind of one of those things. Oh, here's a fun one from Saturday. We got there earlier than Brendan and Ryan and Andrew. So Chris and I walk in, and literally we make the turn where they do the security checkpoint. You know, we park the car, we got our stuff. We make the turn into and go through security, and there's a dude, and he goes, "Hey, do you guys want passes for hot laps?" We're like, "We just walked, dude. I haven't even had time to pee yet. We just walked in here." And he's like, "Yeah, I've got 2 free passes, and I can't use them. You know, I'm already going with my girlfriend, so if you want these 2." And we were like, "Hell yeah!" And they're like, "All right, well, you read the card, and it just says, you know, be here at 9:00." And you're like, okay, so came there, back there at 9:00, and they have a bunch of different cars. They have what they have. They had a couple Lexus. They had the Lambo SUV. They had the Aston Martin SUV. Aston Martin does some cool shit. Their SUV is really rough. It's bad. I mean, it's not Nissan Murano convertible bad, but it's pretty bad. You guys can stop making that anytime now. And then they had a couple of Lambos. They had a McLaren. They had some BMW, the M3 comps, and what else was behind us? The Lexus. Anyway, we were in the BMW M3 comps, and they put, you know, they have one of their pro drivers, not pro drivers, but one of their driving school drivers, and 3 people. So someone in the front and 2 people in the back. And it was Chris and I was in the back, and Chris was up front because this is his trip. It's important. And then there was a guy from Colombia in the back. And he's like, "Can you guys turn off your phones? No recording for a sec?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "All right, well, just don't take a picture of how fast we're going. You know, no videos or pictures of how fast we're going." We're like, "Yeah, that's cool. I don't even have my phone out." And Chris was the same way. I don't have my phone out. The guy beside me, he had 2 cameras, 2 DSLRs, plus his phone. So we're like, "All right, well, we already know this isn't, you know, going to go well." And then he's like, "All right, here we go." And he absolutely launches off the line. You know, we're like, "Oh shit, okay." And we do the full course, and he was not holding back. Absolutely not. He did some V8 supercar turns through the through the bus stop and definitely tested the suspension out. And we were coming out. Those bank turns are incredible. I mean, the ones at Freedom Factory that I was doing last week, those are fun. And this is a whole other ball game. Going up on that bank is, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing how much it pushes the car down and how much faster you can go around those corners. It's really cool. So we're coming around the bank and we're probably 110, 120 miles an hour. And I look over at the guy next to me and his phone is basically zoomed in on the speedometer of the car. I'm like, dude, he just told us not to do that. That was the only rule of the whole ride. We could, circle jerk the whole ride, but we can't take a video of the speed. What's the one thing he does? Yeah, he's taking video of the speedometer. Jesus Christ. Okay. But it was very funny. We came along the back straight. We're about to finish the ride. And I half jokingly said, because he was about to catch the M3 in front of us, I half jokingly said, "Oh, you're not really allowed to pass your buddies." And he was like, "Oh, really? That sounds like a challenge." And he pulled up next to him, and we're like waving over to the other car at 130 miles an hour, like, "Hey, how's it going?" He let him back into the lead. So that was very fun. And that was before any of the other guys got to the track. We hadn't been there. We literally hadn't been there 5 minutes, and we're doing hot laps in the in the BMW, and that was courtesy of IMSA. That's why they had a variety of cars. So that was IMSA who puts on the entire event, and so that was a very good way to show some hospitality and get people, still going and racing. And everyone had a great time. There was big smiles when everyone got out of the cars. It was cool. It was a lot of fun. And then uh, so that was Saturday morning, and then watching tons of racing. Saturday night we went to dinner. Hey, we're hungry. Let's go grab some food, and let's not do $16 shitty cheeseburgers. So we're gonna go just barely north. It's like 5 minutes north on 95, and there's Buc-ee's and there's a bunch of strip malls and restaurants, and we went to dinner there, and it was actually really good. And we were hoping to meet Nick and the other guys, but they didn't get. We were like, yeah, we'll meet you at Buc-ee's because we're going to reload on supplies. Buc-ee's doesn't have Rockstar or Coke, which is weird, but they have water and they have beef jerky and their hot sauces. I love their hot sauces. So I loaded up on hot sauces that I use for cooking and stuff here, and then I did. We did some waters. We did. We did some other stuff too, snacks. I got beaver nuggets because I don't know why those are good. I know they're terrible for you. I know they are, but I see that bag, and it's $3.99. I have to. I don't know what's in them. They put super crack meth in those or something because it's so addicting. Anyway, so we got that stuff, and as we were pulling in, I see a whole bunch of cars. There's like 20 cars lined up, like it's a car meet. And this is opposite, just before the pump. So this is kind of in the regular parking area. And I'm like, wow, there's a car meet. So pull the car around. I see a really cool Toyota SR5 two-wheel drive, like an 84, 82. And so like, that's a really cool truck. I'd really like to go check that out. And there were a bunch of other really cool cars there. So I pull in and everyone loses their mind on the Viper, which is really cool. And I'm like, yeah, hang on a sec. And I go over and I look at the biggest shit box of all of the vehicles there. And it's this SR5 and it's beat up. I lost $1 to Berg because it's a 22 RE. I thought it was a 20 RE. And the gentleman who owns it is super, super old. His brother passed away and left it to him, so he could never sell it. So I didn't even bother with an offer. But it's seriously, it has dings and dents, and the interior's, dash is cracked, and the seats are worn out. It's a 5-speed. It's just a cool ride, and for a few $1,000s, you could actually make it a really, really cool little truck to tool around in. And that 22 RE will go until the sun burns out in 6 billion years. that 22 RE. Top Gear proved it was, impossible to kill. A bunch of rally guys proved it was impossible to kill over the years. It's one of those really, really badass engines. So unfortunately, no. But then we started talking with some of the other people there, and they were really, really cool. One guy had an EK hatch. He's got a turbo the size of Idaho, and he's 750 horsepower on it's a K20 block and a K24 head, and he's got some massive horsepower. He had huge meats up front. It was a really cool car. His buddies had super tricked out cars, really cool paint and powder coat. There were some other lowered cars there that were really cool. There was one guy who had an EG hatch, uh, red and black with gold wheels, and he had like gold badges on the car. It sounds super tacky, but it looked really cool. Main red, black trim, gold wheels, and then he had gold badging. So it was a really cool, very clean setup. And then I looked at how he was dressed, and he had on like a red sweatshirt, a gold chain, and a black hat. And I was like, that's your car, isn't it? I didn't even have to guess. I already knew what it was. He's like, yeah, I like that color combo. He was really cool. But it looked good. They were 5-spoke. I think they were Volca wheels, and they've been gold plated or plated. It looked really nice. It was a really nice looking car. What else was there? There were some other cool cars there. A couple of Subarus that were done up nicely, but those guys were really nice, and it was a total impromptu thing. They were hanging out with their friends at the open Buc-ee's parking lot, and we were just picking up supplies for the next day. So it worked out pretty nice. And that was the one thing I wanted to tell you guys was what happened with the ambulance. So let me have something to drink here as I clear my nose. Also, I went through 14 of these if you guys are keeping track, 14 of them. That's how many it takes for me to get through Rolex 24. So on the way up to Buc-ee's, we get on the highway, get on 95, and it's literally the next exit, but 95 is the fast way to go. So we get on 95, and I'm coming around. It's a big, huge 270-degree right-hand turn on-ramp. And I'm on it pretty good. It's kind of chilly out, and I know these PS2s are going to give up really quick, so I'm not too hard on it. But we're pulling probably about a G, maybe a little bit more. And I make the turn, and I'm going to launch, and I'm going to leave Berg. He's going to have to send me a postcard because, yeah, I'm going to leave him as soon as we get to the actual highway. And as I come on the highway, I see in this mirror flashing red lights, and I'm like, oh, shit, it's a cop. So I kind of ease everything down. I change my plan. I'm not going to launch now. And I just kind of merge over into traffic. And the red lights come up there in the far left lane, and it's an ambulance. And they're going about, I'm going to say they're going 70 because that's the speed limit. But in Florida, anywhere between 70 and 300 is the left lane on 75 or 90, any of the major highways. 70 to about 300, 330 is kind of that's the average speed. So you get on the highway, this ambulance comes up, and I'm doing 70 because I think it's a cop, and I see it's an ambulance, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. So I kind of, start going off, and, Berg's now beside me, and these guys pull up beside me. They blip their siren twice. They're whoop, whoop. And I look over, and the guy comes over the PA, and he goes, nice car. And he's, just cruising along. And I just give him a wave, and I go down to third gear and take off. And, most of the traffic had cleared out because of his lights. So I just launch up to the next exit. That was a lot of fun. That was a really cool thing. Chris was cracking up. That has never happened to me before. So I've had people tell me at stoplights, while I'm driving through parking lots. I've never had an ambulance come over the PA system and tell me nice car. So that was pretty cool. So Saturday night, yeah, and then we went back to the hotel, found out about the full course yellow. We're like, all right, let's hang out here, see what happens. And we got my watch is telling me to take a moment because I'm so excited. Um, Relax, and then we go back Sunday morning, and the race is on. Those guys have been, you know, holding on to the parking brake for 6 hours, and now they said you can go, and they went, man. They really, really went. These guys were doing even faster lap times than they were the evening before, so they were going hammer down, which was very cool. And there's another message that popped up. Yeah, the hot laps thing was really cool. That was totally on accident too. Um, these guys are going hammer. So again, we walk around the track and we're trying to find the optimal place to watch these cars. And you can go over by turn one. You can only go down so far. You can basically go to the edge of turn one, but a lot of stuff, all of that is pit and paddock and private tents, and like, you know, Roger Penske's portable condo is like right there. So there's a lot of VIP shit right on that side that you can't get to. But you can go turn one and you can basically walk the rest of the infield. Most of the infield is camping, and this ranges from like $2 million motorhomes. And we saw a couple of twins, like his and hers motorhomes, which were, I mean, that's got to be huge money. And then it ranges from that all the way down to guys that actually hammer 2x4s together to make a little stand, like a little piece of scaffold, so that they can sit on the bed of their truck and watch the race. There's everything. That's the range you get. You get billionaires down to, you know, Joe Average. And we saw some very cool homemade creations, and definitely on the back straight, just before the last turn, second to last turn, just before the banking. That's where creativity starts. And these guys were, there were some very, very creative setups, very creative, and they're a lot of fun. Those people were super cool about us because they have very specific spots, and they're all numbered, and some of them have power and water and all this other stuff. So they're very, you know, it's kind of private property. And if, you know, you're trying to walk up to the fence to watch the race, you're kind of on their property. But the two guys that Chris and I were with early, they were super cool about it. They were like, yeah, or we're like, is it okay if we watch from here? And they're like, yeah, no problem. They were really cool. So they, you know, that's your space for 3 days or 5 days or whatever. You can kick anybody out if you want. And they were cool about it. That happened all along that the back straight after the bus stop. All those spots, everyone was really nice, and you can get some really cool views. Of course, the picture that I tried to take, I tried to get really like a nice video of the Valkyrie coming around, and I'm watching this guy out of the bottom corner of my eye, and he's an IMSA official or an IMSA photographer, and he's just like do walking along, and I'm like, I know you're going to be in my shot in a second. I know it. Here comes the Valkyrie, and there's the dude. I had this really great shot, and all right, let's try this again. Another minute and a half, and the Valkyrie comes around. Now here comes another dude in an IMSA truck, and I'm like, you're just going to roll right into my shot, aren't you? And sure enough, there goes the IMSA truck. As I'm like, come on. And the other guys are laughing at me. They're like, you're not getting a good video of the Valkyrie coming around. Damn it. I eventually did get one, which was, it just took a while. Those guys had already left. So it took a while for me to get one. And then for the finish of the race, we found a cool spot. One of the cool spots is, I'm going to call it the deep breath, because this is when I race. This is the final lap, the last turn. This is where you take that deep breath and you floor it. Whether your car is going to blow up or not, whether you're in first place or last place, it doesn't matter. You're going to put it to the floor. So you take a deep breath and put it in the floor. So I'm going to call this little area, I'm going to call it deep breath. It is down by, if you're a Daytona fan, you know that a couple of years ago, where the gas station is, just behind the fuel depot there, in that back corner. That fuel depot actually caught on fire, which was pretty terrifying considering what's in there. But on the back corner, by right at the end of the last turn, where the cars come off the bank and come level, that's where we were for the finish of the race. And so you can watch all the way down, almost all the way down that front straight. They finish off the last turn and go down the front straight. So that, I'm calling it, the deep breath. That's where we were for the finish of the race, watching these cars come off the turn and just go full bore. This is the end. If the car blows up, they're still crossing the finish line. If they're in first place, they're, hopefully had their fastest lap ever. So it's a cool place to watch what's happening with the car. Some guys are just so tired. And then some guys we might run out of gas in the last 200 meters of this race and not finish it, except by way of tow truck. So that's where you do that deep breath, and that's where we watched the race. It was a very cool section. Last year we watched it from the viewing stands over the paddock. They have a second level, and you can look over the pit area and you can see the whole front straight, which is really cool. And that's a great vantage point too. The other thing, last year, way colder than this year, much warmer this year, much nicer. And aside from the fog, much nicer weather. And then Sunday, we watched some of the scrutineering. The cars come in for scrutineering, make sure they have the right weight, the right fuel. They measure all this stuff. And so we saw the winners come into scrutineering. And after that, we headed back to the car. And I thought it was going to be like 2 hours to get out of there. It was very quick. We were probably out of Daytona in 15 minutes. And we were back at the hotel in 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It was very, very quick compared to last year. Last year, we went the other way, and there's a ton of foot traffic, and you have to be very careful, especially in something like this. So that was the good news. We took a different route back out onto the main street versus coming around the other side. And I think it was a lot quicker this year. So I'm going to try and remember that route. The other fun fact, this is the only Viper that was at the Rolex 24 that wasn't on track. Obviously, the GTSR was on track and racing. This was the only Viper at 24 hours of Rolex. 24-hour Rolex, 24 hours of Daytona. Sorry, got to get it right. Did not see another Viper there. And I'll have to check, obviously, with the Viper Club and see if anyone else had one there. We walked the entire infield. I think we saw almost all of the cars there. Did not see another Viper there. And talked to a ton of people, and they're like, yeah, this is the only Viper I've seen. So that's kind of neat. Got a lot of love from the people coming in and out of the event. They love the car. I had a bunch of cops and a bunch of IMSA people tell me, nice ride, which is really cool. I always love hearing that. And a bunch of the folks that work at Daytona people were very, very nice, very polite. And yeah, that was pretty cool. So after that, went back to the hotel, showered, changed, because we were kind of sweaty and kind of gross. So we changed clothes, and we figured out where we were going to go to dinner, whether we were going to go to Daytona Beach or go a little bit further south. And we found this cool spot. I'm going to say but I think it was Chris that first pointed it out, but I'm the one who made the call. And we went to this place called Racing's North Corner. And it's where the original Daytona track was, like back in the 30s, 40s, 20s. And so it's moved up about 20 miles from where it was. And this is half tarmac, half beach is starting point, because you go left, right? So you're starting south and you come up to the north, and the restaurant was right here. Come up to the north turn, and it was just a single turn. Well, I guess you could do like 3 and 4, but it was actually just a C shape. So the north turn, and then it goes on to pavement, which was the street, and then it goes back out onto sand. And the sand there is very packed. It's pretty solid. So it's very fine, and the tides press it down. You can drive on it, but don't drive your Challenger on it, because the guy brought his Challenger down right next to the restaurant by the beach. And he thought he was going to do this very romantic beachside thing and stuck his Challenger. So there fortunately was someone at the restaurant who had big four-wheel drive, and they yanked him out. But we did, while we were waiting for our table, it was like 15, 20-minute wait, took socks and shoes off, walked out into the ocean. It was cold, but absolutely tolerable. No sharks, no gators, nothing like that. And I got that sunset picture with the Viper, which was completely by accident. I was just looking for a parking spot. I got a parking spot, and I looked back at my car because that's what you do. And I looked back at my car, and I was like, "Hey, wow, perfect sunset picture with the palm trees." Click, and it was one of those. I'd like click. I barely even framed it, and it turns out that's one of the best pictures I've taken of the car. So a very nice dinner. That place was awesome. The hush puppies there are the size of tennis balls, and I got the Monte Cristo. I had so many hush puppies I couldn't finish the Monte Cristo. I finished it. That was my dinner tonight. So the Monte Cristo was huge. It was the size of it's the size of half a loaf of bread. If you take a loaf of bread and cut it in half, that's how big the Monte Cristo was. It was just packed. It was huge. I was not expecting that. I was expecting a little grilled cheese sandwich, maybe a little bigger. It was huge. So unfortunately, I filled up on hush puppies, so I just brought it home. It was great. The staff there was really nice. The parking is across the street, by the way. The parking in front of the restaurant, they only have like 6 or 8 spots. So park across the street, there's a big public parking space there. And then, yeah, it was a cool cruise back to the hotel. I loaded up the car. Chris chilled. We went through social media and did a bunch of stuff. And then this morning, or actually, those guys took off. Berg and Andrew left right after the end of the race. His flight was super early. So Ryan and Berg took off after the restaurant, and they went to Berg's house. Chris and I went back to the hotel because we're staying one more night at the hotel. And Berg took Ryan to the airport tonight. This morning, I dropped Chris off at the airport, which is fun, with a truck and trailer and a Viper on the back, cruising through airport parking. That's fun, or the arrivals and departures. Yeah, people like that. People are big fans of that big rig pulling in and blocking up 4 spaces. And airport security, they're big fans of it too. They love that shit. They don't. They absolutely do not. I thought they were going to come running down saying, "Get that thing out of here." But we were too fast. Chris was well prepared and grabbed the bag, sent him off, high five. "See you, man. Call me when you get there." So yeah, that was that was interesting. And then it was about a 2-hour drive back after Orlando. 220 miles. It was a little more than 2 hours. Painless drive. So I got back here, got the car unloaded, and got a whole bunch of stuff done. Laundry's going. So we're, I don't know. I'm one of those people, after a trip, I immediately unpack everything. And, you know, if it hasn't been used, it goes back. If it has been used, it goes in the laundry. Is anyone else like that? Like after a trip, you empty your bag? Or do you leave it for like a few days or weeks or whatever with the clothes in there? Maybe I'm weird. I like to get all that stuff out and get it sorted before, you know, I forget about it or whatever. I'm weird. I'm weird like that. But other than that, it was actually a very, very fun trip. We are definitely not doing a hotel next year. We are definitely doing an Airbnb, 2,000%. We will make changes in all of the logistics planning, and we hopefully will keep doing stuff with Haggerty because they are great to work with. The people, even their booth that's down by, kind of down by the paddock, they had water, they had snacks, they're handing out to people. They had a ton of their customers come by and talk about their cars, their new insurance, their old insurance, all this other stuff. So it was cool to watch them interact with all of their customers. What else we got here? Hey, nice afternoon. Hey, YT Crook. Okay. YT. I can't figure it out. You'll have to explain it to us. Um, yeah, Haggerty was really, really nice to deal with, and it was really nice to go to that black tie party, the hangar party. That was fun, and it was not stuffy at all. It was not overly pompous or anything like that. Everyone was very, very nice. It could have very well been like, super Grey Poupon, but it wasn't. It was cool. YouTube, got it. YouTube crook, got it. Okay, yeah, YT, we're on YouTube. See, I can't do that math. I didn't figure out Thor. I didn't figure out the heart of racing. 2 years, man. You know how long it would have taken me to do your name? Yeah. So, yeah, all in all, a really fun weekend. My favorite part, I think, was getting Chris out of Ohio. That was a huge, huge, huge step for one of my good friends, and his mental health, his physical health, his health, and all of that. So getting him out, and then all of us watching it just absolutely dump snow in Ohio while we're sunny, and it might hit 80 today. We're just watching our friends shovel snow, and it's kind of odd to have that switch off. If it makes anyone else feel better in the eastern half of the country above Florida, we are actually getting very cold weather all this week. We will not be above 70 degrees for the first time in more than 20 years all week. So I think the high is 68 for the next week. And we're going to see here at my house, I'm supposed to see 38 degrees. Now, I don't have a furnace like you guys have a separate either electric or gas furnace, or God forbid, oil furnace or log or whatever. I have this big thing up here, and it's just called an air handler. And I have a gigantic air conditioner unit outside, but the air handler has like this little heating element in it, and it's electric, and it's not very powerful. And so when temperatures drop, it kind of heats the house, but it's not really designed for that. It's basically designed to keep the pipes from freezing. So it will not get it warm in the house. It will just keep things from freezing. So when we get super, super cold, like 38 is super cold for Florida. I'm looking at where my shop is in Ohio, and on Thursday, the low is 10 below zero, and that's without wind chill. So watching that stuff, I'm trying to keep it relative, and so here 38 degrees is pretty damn cold. They do actually have a falling iguana warning. That is a real thing from the National Weather Service. That's in Miami. Miami's going to get a little bit of that. They're going to be in the 40s. Those are cold-blooded animals. When it gets that cold, their blood doesn't move, and they just fall over. If they're hanging in a tree, you get an 8-pound iguana falling on you, can hurt. So definitely keep heads up if you're south of here. We don't have a lot of iguanas here. I just have those little lizards, the little South Carolina geckos. We had tons of those guys, and they eat all the bugs, which is a good thing. I like the geckos that eat bugs. So those guys move slower, and you can definitely notice it in the colder temperatures. You walk around the yard, and they're like, duh, 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 when they used to be, and they just scoot across, and they're moving very slowly. We got other messages here. Amazing ride. It's Friday night, just kicking back. Love to create content and support while I'm on breaks. Thanks, YT, man. I appreciate that. Tile in the bathroom and by the windows. You said tile in the bathroom. All I can think of is mirror in the bathroom. Sorry, I'm thinking about that song. Yeah, it's funny. The lizards thing is actually very funny. So it is going to be cold here this week. That doesn't stop me from doing stuff. Obviously, the Viper needs to get cleaned. It is filthy. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'll just do a squiggly line, and hopefully you guys can see this. Maybe. I only put maybe 300 miles on the Viper, 250 miles on the Viper. So I did not do too much driving. I don't know what that brake dust is made out of, but I should probably lick it. So I didn't do too much driving, but the brakes are very dirty on this car. The brakes are very squeaky. They're still the race pads. They're the Carbotech XP20s, and they're very violent. I can slow down very, very quickly, but they're very, very dirty. So that is a downside. So Viper will get cleaned. Miata is obviously very clean. It didn't go anywhere for the last few days. And I'm going to get my buddy Mark over here to help me with the Holly stuff on the limo. We're going to get the limo cranking and bring it in here. We're going to do a whole bunch of wiring stuff on the limo and get it out test driving. And also for you guys, I'm going to be adding videos on here from the Ultima 600. I went through some of the video early from the GoPro and the Ice Fox action cameras. It's kind of funny. So the cheap Chinese copy is incredibly terrible quality, but it lasted 5 times longer than the big name brand, which had very good quality, but the battery died about halfway through the race. So there you go. Pick your poison. You want crap quality, but it lasts the whole race. You want really good quality, but you have to run 3 of them in order to finish the race and start them at different times. So there's the, which do you want? And so I'll go through some of that video. There's some fun stuff. If you guys want to see me get bonked hard, it's in there. If you want to see me bonk people hard, it's in there too. If you want to see Speedy Cop pass me, it's in there. If you want to see Cletus McFarland walk right past me with his SER, it's in there. And yeah, we'll definitely do more Ultima stuff because we have another Ultima race coming up in October. And I'm going to be doing some more MR6 stuff when next time I'm back in Ohio. I don't have a date for my next Ohio trip, but we're going to be doing MR6 and we're going to be doing Monza stuff and prepping for our race in April at Mid-Ohio. We will be going to Lemons and we're going to be bringing 2 cars. We're going to bring the MR6 and we're going to bring the Monza. We'll have 2 separate teams, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some new drivers, and we're really going to have a good time because that is kind of a local track for all of us. So that's going to be a good time. Definitely a good time. And we're going to have spectators there and all that. And also, and I put this out there a bunch of times, and a lot of people have taken me up on the offer, so I'll do it again. If you want to come to a Lemons race as a spectator, I will cover it. Shoot me a message, send me an email, text me, whatever. If you want to do a spectator for Lemons race that we're going to, shoot me a message and I will cover it. You do not have to root for us. You don't have to, massage our feet in the paddock or anything like that. Come to the event, walk around the paddock, go check everything out, talk to the people. There's crazy barbecue all over the place. Have fun at the event. It's one of those things I want more people to get into the racing. So if it doesn't cost you anything except time, then hopefully you'll come to the track and you'll see how much fun it is to do real wheel-to-wheel racing. It's an absolute blast. The Lemons people are a lot of fun. All the teams, the whole Lemons staff, they're all really fun people. They're very serious about safety, so you take that serious. Way more serious than Freedom Factory. I will tell you that right now. Oh, you got a helmet? You got shoes on? You're good to go. Oh, okay. What about the other guy? Well, he's got overalls on and they're both snapped. He's safe. Okay. I think his dad made his helmet. Yeah, he'll be fine. Okay. Yeah, Lemons is a lot different than that. So if you guys want to do that, you know how to get in touch with me. I'm easy to get in touch with. I'm blocked anyone. So you guys are welcome to do that. And so we have Lemons in April. We have another Sarasota Cars and Coffee coming up in February. We have, yeah, I'll probably be back in Ohio in March, probably at the end. Uh, I don't think the end of February. I think after probably the middle of March, I'll be back in Ohio for prepping the cars, and then I'll be back obviously for the race in April. So it'll probably be the middle of Ohio sometime, or middle of Ohio. You want to talk about a Freudian slip? Middle of March. I might come back in February, depending on time frame and a whole bunch of other stuff. But if I can, I'll do 2 trips: mid-February, mid-March, and then April. So I will be back. We'll be doing live streaming from my shop in Ohio. I miss my tools, you guys. I can't tell you how much I miss my tools. I don't miss a lot about Ohio, especially 21 inches of snow, but I miss my tools. Holy shit, do I miss them. Anyway, that's kind of the wrap up from the weekend. That's what we've got coming up. More Viper stuff, more limo stuff, and I got to do more lives with you guys from locations. I want to do more location, like when we're at Cars and Coffee, when we're going to a really cool meet, you know, somewhere in Punta Gorda or in Fort Myers. I want to do more live stuff. So I'll try and figure out how to do more of that stuff and be a little more selfish, which actually brings stuff to you guys. So I'll try and do that. We got more messages here. What do we got? Nikki, you should hire Sam that works for Cletus to detail the Viper. Oh, yeah. That's actually a good idea, Nikki. I can do it for free. What Hans device? Oh, you were making a joke. What Hans device? Yeah. No. If you don't have a roll cage, please don't use a Hans device. If you're using the regular seatbelt, a Hans device can actually hinder your safety in with a regular seatbelt with a 3-point. So unless you have a full harness and a roll bar, that's where you really want the Hans device. It's not a good thing to do it with just a 3-point. So, but yeah, I have 2 Hans devices. So, Nikki, you're correct. Correct. Sam Langford, he does really, really nice work. He's been doing it. I don't know. Didn't he detail Jesus's car? I can't remember. Yeah, it might have just been. It might have just been Julius Caesar. I can't remember. He's been doing it a long time. Sam Langford's awesome. Really, really nice guy. And he's working with a bunch of crazy guys, which is very funny. Like, okay, there's this older gentleman, and then there's all these ding-dongs, you know, doing huge burnouts in Fieros and, you know, racing motorhomes on dirt tracks. And he's all there. He's all in. He's 100% in, which is really cool. Very, very cool guy. Yeah, if you guys get the chance, go to Freedom Factory. They do tons of stuff there. The Ultimate Race was just bonkers. The Danger Ranger 9000 is crazy. If I can, I'd like to build a Ranger for the Danger Ranger 9000, and I'm gonna try and hook up with Speedy Cop and see if that's something we can do within budget, because those are fully built. They're fully caged, you know, stripped out. They're full blast race trucks. So if we can do that with a limited budget, that might be kind of fun. You know, just a Ford Exploder engine or something in it. And so definitely look at that. The only downside is I would have to put plates on the Altima, so I could drive the Altima up there and then trailer the Ranger. So that makes it a little more difficult. But Speedy Cop does that. He races both races in the same day, which is pretty cool. His Danger Ranger blew up in practice this past one. So hopefully he gets that thing rebuilt. That guy's fast as shit, man. Speedy Cop is really fast. In his video, I don't know if you guys saw it. In his video, thankfully, I'm only in his video like 4 times. But there's guys that are in his video like 7, 8, 12 times. And that means that he passed you. If you're in his video, that means he passed you. Speedy Cop's really fast. Really fast. And he knows that track really well. And his car's set up. I mean, it's fully stripped and caged V6 manual. Yeah, he's got a great setup. So that'll be fun to do again. Southwest, hey man, what should I get for my next car? Looking for something like manual, sporty, fast, kind of modern. All right, Southwest. We were talking about dailies the other time. Sporty, fun, cheap, and invisible to cops. Toyota Corolla S. Super low maintenance, super cheap insurance, cheap tires, cheap brake pads, great gas mileage. Can get it in a manual. You get 4 doors, so your ding-dong buddies can get in the back, and you don't have to fold the seats, and everyone's bitching about how they're cramped and it's so tight back here. Yeah, Toyota Corolla S. You can get them, still get them fairly cheap. Anything under 100,000 miles is a great deal. That's my suggestion. Also, if you only want 2 doors, if you want your asshole friends cramped in the back, like, you know, in the fetal position, that's if that's fun for you, that's fun for me. I'll admit that. Honda Accord V6, and you can get that in an automatic, and it's still fun. Still a fun ride. Again, super cheap insurance, super cheap parts, labor, all that stuff is super cheap. And are they super? Is it a Lambo going to the strip club on a Saturday night? No. Nope. But you can do all your daily driving in it. You can haul all of your parts in it. Go to the junkyard, grab your headlights for your Ultima race car in it. You can go to work in it. You can go to school. You can do all this stuff. It's fun to drive, and it's smart. And then your fun car is the one you're putting all the money into. You're not putting your money into your daily. You're not buying wheels for it. You're not buying headlights for it. You're not putting a huge stereo in it. You're not doing all that stuff. You're putting all of your money into your fun car. And you already have a fun car, I think. So keep the fun car fund going. And just for a simple daily driver, just get, I saw a bunch on the drive here. I saw a silver one and a red one. If you get a silver Toyota Corolla S, you're totally invisible to cops. Same thing with a Camry. You get a silver Toyota Camry, totally invisible to cops. They did make Camrys in manuals, but they're pretty rare. I think that was up to like 2002. So, and those things will run forever, the 1MZs. But Toyota Corolla S, they got the cool body kits and spoilers on them. They look really nice for a 4-door car, fairly cheap. Like I said, all the other stuff is super cheap on them, and that way you can dump money into the fun car. You're not continually putting it into the daily. Miata Del Sol, yep. Miata is only 2 doors, and Miata's soft top. So again, not bad, but for utility, like putting groceries in a Miata is kind of a pain in the ass. I mean, I have one, but you kind of, I sort of count my groceries versus if I didn't have to count how many boxes of mac and cheese I'm getting, I would just put them in the back door in the Corolla. Or take the truck, I guess, and then I don't really give a shit, right? So just scoop them all in, put them in there. But that's why I said the Corolla, because getting stuff in and out of the car is nice when you have a back seat. And in a Miata, you just, I guess you have to put it in the passenger seat. So, or in the little teeny tiny trunk. Miata's not bad though. Miata gets great gas mileage, but a Miata is not invisible to cops. So that's the downside. Once you get the little sport coupe, that's what cops see. The Del Sol is a good one. Del Sol's had awesome engines. What was it? The B16 or B18 in there. And those were cool. And the top, you can get the removable top and all that. Del Sols are cool, but again, they're not invisible to cops. And you have kind of limited storage in a Del Sol. Miata parts are cheap. Del Sol parts are cheap. So not too bad on that front, but you do have limited storage in both. That's my suggestion. So basically I got the S. I have an LE with the, okay. Something above 350 horsepower turbo 2. D16 was in the Del Sol. Okay, thank you, Nikki. I try and keep up with Honda engines, but after that guy said he was doing the, what was it, the K48. All I've been is focusing on where the hell is that thing? Hurry up. Hurry up. We're all dying for that. Apparently he got I don't know if he ran out of money or he got sick or something. Anyway, what was the other question? Oh yeah, so you have the. It's funny. You sort of made an S with. I remember your car now. So you kind of took the long way to get a Corolla S. Now you want something 350 horsepower with a turbo. Kia Stinger. People think I'm nuts. Kia Stinger, all-wheel drive, that's V6 twin turbo. Got 4 doors. Thing will launch all over the place. It's great in shitty weather. Sorry, we were doing because the Porsches this weekend basically ran 1-2 most of the time. So it was number 6 and number 7. So this whole weekend has been 6-7, all that shit. So I can't say those two numbers together. Okay. Work at Walmart. You need to get your credit up, which is a huge thing. Huge. So again, no more dumping money into the daily. All your extra money goes into that savings account for the fun car. And the really good thing to do is also your research on it. Make sure you're getting the right trim package, the right model, all that stuff. And then keep parking money. When your friends are like, hey, we're going to the club tonight, or, hey, we're going to go to, Cancun for the weekend. It's only $800. No, I can't go, you guys. I'm trying to save up for stuff, car and house. It sucks to do that. Trust me. It sucks so bad, especially when they come back and they're like, oh, there were so many strippers and we were doing blow off their asses and oh, it was so much fun. And you're like, shit, we're gone. But you have $800 in the bank. They don't. You have $800 closer to your fun car. They don't. So it sucks to say you can't go to the club and you can't go to Mexico and, you can't do this stuff because you're focused on that. But when it comes time to, to get that fun car, I hate to be Randy Moss, but it's straight cash, homie. You're paying that guy in cash money. You can get a much better deal on a vehicle and you're going to be super happy. They're just going to have nosebleeds from their trip to Mexico. So that's the best way to do it and it sucks, man. When I was saving for my first house, my friends were like, hey man, we're going to the bar. We're going to go to the Avalanche game. We're going to go do all this. You should come with us. You guys, I can't. I'm saving money for the house. $20. Like they say, $20 is $20. $20 towards my, down payment on my new house is a big deal. I want to go out with you guys and do all this, but I can't really. So, and they're like, all right, well, it sucks to be you. And I was the first one who bought a house out of all of those people. So you get that too. It sucks to, not go and do that stuff, but it really pays off in the end. So do the Walmart thing. Keep your car looking nice. Keeping it clean is super easy and not very expensive. You guys know that I use all Jax Wax stuff. Find a product line that works great for you. I love the Jax Wax. So I use the Jax Wax on everything. Find something that keeps your car like super, super clean. Pay attention to the little details. Clean out the engine bay. There's a lot of stuff you can do for $0 that help make your car to personalize your car without dumping $5,000 in wheels and tires and, $25,000 engine. There's stuff you can do for free that's really personalizing, help personalize your car. So do those little things while you're saving for the fun car. And 350 horsepower with a turbo. That's a tough one. I got to think about that. But while I'm thinking about it, you should be saving money. So you do that. I'll figure out something cool. And you can do your research too, because there might be something that I come up with. I'm like, oh, Nissan Murano convertible, and you're like, no, I'd rather hammer rusty nails through my penis. I'm not doing that. So, my suggestions are, just, I don't know, shots in the dark. So you'll see something that you like, and then you're like, oh, I like this body style, or I like this setup, or whatever. And that's why you save that money, is because you can filter through all of that and also not have buyer's remorse where you're like, oh, I bought this, but damn, I should have waited and bought this because it's really what I wanted. This is almost sort of what I wanted. Don't ever settle, even if it means saving another 6 months. Don't ever settle. I've learned that. I've learned that the hard way, and that it sucks, man. When you settle, you're just like, oh. It's not a regret thing. It's just it's one of those. If I wasn't in such a hurry, I would have got the right thing. But I saw this shiny, glittery thing, and I was like, oh yeah. No, should have not done that. And also, don't believe the used car salesman bullshit. Don't even talk to them. You have your very own spec sheet. You have your very own build sheet. They can tell you that the car goes to the moon and back on 2 gallons of gas at 500 miles an hour. I don't give a shit. You need to focus on what you're looking at. That's it. Don't even pay attention to what they're doing. You know what you want. You have the budget for it. You're focused on it. Stay focused on it. Put the money in the bank. You have a cool car now. Go with that. I should do that. I should do a live stream on like free mods that you can do, so that some people who don't have a ton of money, these are like simple, like $10 under mods. That would be a good one, wouldn't it? Because I could do a whole list of those. Oh, we got notes here. What do we got? Oh, yeah, Southwest. Are you in Idaho? Because that would be very confusing for me and everyone else. I think I remember you saying you were in Idaho. Yeah, okay. Idaho is awesome. I think my ass is actually polishing the car. So let's see. Sandpoint, not good. Boise, good. Trying to think of Idaho fun facts. Kia Stinger is nice up there because you do have all-wheel drive. If you want to drive something year-round, you're going to need something all-wheel drive. You're above the 30th parallel. That means you're going to get snow. I don't give a shit what valley you live in. That's a tough one. You're going to need all-wheel drive. So all-wheel drive, 350 with the turbo. I'm going to have to think about that. Because I can't say, like used Callaway. You get to drive that 4 days out of the year, and that's not fun. You need something that can handle the rain, sleet, snow. You have mud season up there. A lot of people don't know about mud season. So you need to have something that's pretty durable. 350 horsepower with the turbo. You need a Ram 3500 dually. Sorry, man. That's an Idaho joke. Everyone has a ranch, right? You guys don't get snow anymore. That's bullshit. I've skied in Idaho. Don't give me that. I used to live in West Yellowstone, man. You can't get me on that. Yeah, I'll have to think about that one. That's a good one. And I don't know why. If I hold my hand like this, it thinks I'm doing a thumbs up, and so it'll throw a thumbs up. Meridian, yeah, you guys get snow Meridian. I mean, not like the Tetons and all that stuff, and not further up the Wasatch, but you guys get snow there. Yeah, I'll have to think about that one. So yeah, I'll work on a. That's actually a good idea. Like Truss had a bunch of really good ideas when I was doing the Ultima build. So that's actually a very good idea. I'll start putting it on the whiteboard. Sort of dollar store mods. We'll just call them dollar store mods. So you can do them for a couple of dollars or they're $0. And this will be stuff that you can do to kind of any car. Sometimes it'll be specific to a make and model, but most of the time it'll just be easy stuff that you can do to personalize your car. And I think that would be a fun one. Hopefully I can get some suggestions from you guys too. Oh, hey, I did this. Only cost me $2 in XYZ supplies, or hey, I did this for free by just looping this around and closing these off, or whatever. So if you guys have suggestions too, I'd love to hear those. Send me a message and I'll add them to the live stream. But I think we can do something like that where, not everybody has a $500,000 pro mod car, or I found out that the car that won at Daytona this weekend, $2.2 million for the car. That does not include the driver, the crew, anything, any expendables this week. The car, $2.2 million. That's just to get one car. They had two cars there. So there's another car. They actually, the Porsches, I think there were 4 in total of that model. And then there was a street legal version. I think it's street legal in like Czechoslovakia, Peru, and New Zealand. I don't think it's very street legal anywhere else. Canada allows a lot of shit too. So yeah, it is absolutely not street legal here in the US. No way. Absolutely not. But it was a very cool car. I got some cool pictures of that one. Yeah, 2.2 million just for the car. And the technology in those is so bonkers. It's so cool. So cool. But no one sounded better than the Valkyrie. Trust me. Go check out the Valkyrie, the Aston Martin Valkyrie. Look up the specs on that. Even the street car version is pretty amazing. Yeah, that's it. We'll do. I'll put together that list of the dollar store mods and what folks can do for super cheap. And like I said, if you guys have suggestions you want to throw out there, I would love to hear them, and we'll try and incorporate that, and we'll do a quick one on that. But that was about it for the weekend. And now I'm trying to prep for the cold. I'm going to turn the heat on in the house because it's going to start to get chilly. What do we got here now? I've got 49.5 degrees outside. So it is starting to cool down, and we will be under 70 degrees all week. So yeah, that's what that will. I got to bring the limo in. I don't want it to freeze outside. So I think that's about it. What do we got? Another message here. 350Z. Now remember, that's all-wheel drive, or rear-wheel drive. So you're going to be able to drive it probably 4 to 5 months out of the year. The tires you put on there will be too cold to. It'll be too cold to run those tires. So you got to be careful with rear-wheel drive stuff. I would say a Subaru, any of the WRX, but you can ask Nikki. Subaru owners, all of their stuff is worth its weight in gold, apparently. And I'm just kidding. Subaru stuff tends to be very expensive. And then you're out west, so you don't really have to worry so much about the salt, but you do have a lot of cinders in the road. That's what they use to provide grip. Instead of salting the roads, they use these little pieces of volcanic cinder. And it's like a little hollow rock, and it eventually crumbles, but it provides really good traction. They spread it, and then it kicks up on your windshield and breaks your windshield. So you won't have a lot of grip with the cinders, and you won't have a lot of rust damage. So the Subaru stuff would be okay. Gosh, what else? Trying to think other all-wheel drive stuff. But also where you're at, it's very mountainous, and all-wheel drives would be a lot more fun, especially on the mountain roads up there. Some of the passes that you have, going up through the Wasatch and up through the Rockies, you're going to have really a good time with an all-wheel drive car. I'll think of something. The Evos, obviously, those things are made out of unobtainium, right? Everyone wants 2 kidneys and an eye for an Evo. So there'll be something out there though. And again, make sure it's the right spec. Maybe you don't want an Evo 9. Maybe a Rally Art is just fine for you. So, you know, take a look around and definitely the other thing, and I talked about this before, don't put those blinders on. Like, I'm only doing an Evo. I'm only doing an Evo. I'm only doing an Evo. That really limits you on, any of the car stuff. And especially, you'll see a lot of guys, I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it, Corvette guys, man. And Jesus Christ, I can't count how many C8s I saw this weekend. 500, 1,000, and that's in 2 days. They were literally everywhere. And guys are making up their own editions. It's like the Bob Ross edition. And I'm like, what the shit is that? What is the Bob Ross edition? Let me check Chevy's website. There's no such thing. Yeah. It's the Clockwork Orange edition. I'm like, what the hell is that? Roddy McDowell, whatever. Jeep's not a bad idea. Jeep's not like, super fun track car, but CJ5, CJ7, your insurance won't be very cheap because it's 4-wheel drive and because you're under 35, but your parts you can get, they got just a shit ton of parts for those. Tires will be a little bit more expensive depending on what you go. If you go huge 44 mudders, or if you just do 32s or 35s, they're not terribly expensive. Tons of customization. I mean, light bars and light pods and rear tire racks and suspension and all this stuff. Double down on your steering dampers. You want 2 shocks for your steering dampers, not 1. That'll help with the 65 mile an hour death wobble. And if you do get it, change all the fluids: oil, power steering, brake fluid, transmission fluid, both diffs and transfer case. People always forget the diffs and transfer case. Replace those fluids with really, really good stuff. And when you see those fluids come out, they're just going to glitter in the sun. So, yeah, replace them with really, really good fluids. Red line, something super, super heavy duty. The diffs in the transfer case take a lot of juice, so you'll want them protected. Jeep's not a bad idea, though. Not a bad idea. You can have a lot of fun, especially in the mountains. And then put a hardtop on in the winter. Take the hardtop off in the summer, like park it like I have the Miata hardtop. Just go soft top and a little bikini with the little, little bikini top with the little straps come off the back, and you got rain protection. It's not a bad idea. That could be a lot of fun. And there's tons of kick-ass trails in Idaho too. Tons of them. So not bad. Not everything has to be 205 miles an hour. Sometimes 4 miles an hour over, some sort of crazy gulch. Yeah, that's fun too. It's good practice for driving. Yeah, 911s of the car world. Yeah, I think the Corvette is the 911, the 1911 of the car world. They just see. I think it's since the C5. So C5, 6, 7, and 8. And I think CA is by far the worst. Just, whew. The stuff I've seen in the last 2 months with Corvettes is just astounding, like literally astounding. They say there's no accounting for taste, and Corvette C8 owners prove that every day. So that's about it for the weekend. I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight and talking, and hopefully you enjoy this. Sorry we didn't do too much tech stuff. We'll definitely get back into that, especially when Mark comes over and we're doing the Holly stuff. We'll definitely get in depth on doing the sniper programming and getting that car tuned and getting all the horsepower we can get out of it. And so hopefully you guys will join us for that one. And then the really great suggestion of doing the dollar store mods, I'll work on that list and we'll do one of those. Trying to think. Mark's car, Mark's got a badass Mustang uh, street car. So when that car gets down here, we'll definitely bring it into the shop and we'll do a deep dive on his car. You guys will get to see that thing. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. It's very quick. In Mexico, it's very quick. I don't know how fast it's going to be here in Florida, but I know in Mexico, it's very, very quick. So, very cool car. And so we do have tons of stuff coming up. And like I said, the racing we have coming up in April, and then we have other events. And when we register for those, I'll keep you guys updated on them so you can watch them. And we will be live streaming from the MR6 again. So, and that'll be on this channel as well. So, I'll pick out some clips from the Freedom. I might just upload everything that I've got from the Ultima 600, and they'll be on the channel here as well. So, and if you do the subscribe thing, you get a notification. I think you get an email or a pop up or whatever. So definitely subscribe. And thank you to all the new subscribers. You guys have been fantastic, and I'm glad you guys are liking everything that I'm doing here. Like I said, I'm going to keep doing it as long as I can. I don't get paid anything for this, so I'm just going to keep going until someone tells me to stop. So I guess that's it for tonight, and we will. I'll probably be back tomorrow night, depending on what we do with the limo tomorrow and how cold it is, et cetera, et cetera. So, because the garage door has to stay open. So that's the downside about bringing the limo in, is the garage door has to stay open and it's going to be super cold. So it's one of those trade-off things. I know everyone in Ohio is like, oh, really? It's going to be 38? That's rough. Yeah, 10 below at my shop. Yeah, so yeah, we'll keep going. We'll keep bringing you guys cool, fun stuff. Like I said, if there's something you want to see in the shop here, definitely shoot me a message, and I'll try and talk to friends and see if we can't get it over here. And I think that's about it. Don't forget to show someone that you love them today. Give me a kiss on the cheek. Give me a kiss on the tip of their nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but it's far more important for you. So thanks, everyone. We will talk to you either tomorrow night or Thursday night. So have an awesome night. We will see you later. Oh, it's so dirty. And I don't mean dirty like in a good way.